ChatGPT. Relate ACIM to the movie God's Not Dead 2. God's Not Dead 2 through the lens of A Course in Miracles, ACIM. God's Not Dead 2 is a story about conviction, fear, public opinion, persecution, faith, and the willingness to stand for what one knows to be true. Through the lens of A Course in Miracles, ACIM, it becomes less about defending God and more about removing the blocks that obscure awareness of God's presence. At its heart, the movie asks, will I remain true to what I know in my heart when the world challenges it? This question reflects a major theme in ACIM. Truth does not need defense. One of ACIM's most surprising teachings is that truth does not require defense. Truth simply is. The sun does not need to defend itself against clouds. God does not need protection. The ego believes truth is fragile. The Holy Spirit knows truth is invulnerable. The movie repeatedly explores the tension between defending a belief and resting in a deeper certainty. The fear of public opinion. Much of the conflict arises because people fear what others will think. Reputation, acceptance, approval. The ego survives through seeking validation from the world. ACIM teaches that peace comes when we no longer depend upon the world's judgment to determine our value. The movie beautifully portrays the courage required to follow inner conviction. Witnessing rather than convincing. The central character repeatedly finds herself explaining her beliefs, yet the deepest impact comes not from argument, but from presence, integrity, consistency, authenticity. ACIM teaches that teaching occurs primarily through demonstration rather than persuasion. The movie reflects this principle. Attack as a call for love. Several characters appear hostile, critical, or oppositional. The ego sees enemies. ACIM teaches that attack is a call for love. Behind hostility often lies fear, pain, confusion. The movie repeatedly reveals the humanity beneath opposition. The classroom of relationships. The courtroom becomes a classroom, so do the friendships, the conversations, the conflicts. ACIM teaches that every encounter offers an opportunity to choose between fear and love. The movie demonstrates how challenging situations can become opportunities for healing and understanding. Faith beyond circumstances. The ego wants certainty before trust. The Holy Spirit asks for trust before certainty appears. The characters often move forward without knowing the outcome. This reflects ACIM's teaching that trust grows through willingness. The movie beautifully illustrates this process. The ego's need to be right. Courtroom dramas often revolve around proving who is right. ACIM introduces another possibility. Peace is more important than being right. The movie repeatedly exposes the limitations of intellectual victory when compared to genuine understanding. The presence of God. The film asks whether God belongs in public life. ACIM would approach the issue differently. God's presence is not confined to a building, institution, courtroom, or classroom. God's presence is everywhere. The real question becomes whether we are willing to recognize it. Forgiveness. Throughout the story, characters are repeatedly given opportunities to release grievances. Fear can produce division. Forgiveness restores joining. ACIM teaches that forgiveness is the mechanism of healing. The movie repeatedly points toward reconciliation over conflict. The central reflection. The ego watches God's Not Dead 2 and asks, how do I win the argument? How do I prove my position? How do I defend my beliefs? The Holy Spirit watches God's Not Dead 2 and asks, can I remain aligned with truth regardless of appearances? Viewed through ACIM, the movie becomes a story about trust, integrity, and the willingness to live from inner conviction rather than external approval. The courtroom symbolizes the world's judgments. The deeper journey concerns releasing the need for judgment altogether. The deepest message may be, the ego believes truth must be defended because it fears losing it. The Holy Spirit knows truth cannot be threatened. Peace comes not from winning arguments, but from living in alignment with what we know in our hearts. When fear of public opinion falls away, the light that was always present becomes easier to recognize. Go to mwg.org to find full movie and commentary by David Hoffmeister.